morning, good afternoon. Let's hope it streams well today with no hiccups. Hey Christopher, good morning, how are you doing? Hey June Marinas, hope you're well. Hey Nav, good morning. It is a good day to start making money. It is a good week to start making money. I'm not too sure about today, but it is a good week to start making money. Looking forward to this week. Last week was a little bit quiet, a little bit slow. Thanks for that, June Marinas. Thanks for that, Christopher. Hey Diana, how are you doing? Good afternoon, Anthony. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so again, brand new week, Monday, the 13th of May. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all trading well. Thank you all for joining me. If you're new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. Love to find out. And for all the regulars, I see all of you here back again. Thank you for joining me on this market analysis. We'll look into the week ahead. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And I ask that you help me out. Do remember to click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. That would help massively. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Hey Stefan. Hey Sohenko, good to see you. Hope you're all doing well. Okay, with that quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Hey Augusto, how are you doing? Now take that away. Right, markets haven't been too active for today. Right, since I came in, haven't done too much in terms of the markets. It is quite quiet. At 11 a.m. we did have the Kiwi with the inflation expectations kind of moving as we expected. It was a 2.5%. Expected it to slow down slightly, so it did get to 2.33. So inflation expectations slowing down. We did see the Kiwi drop slightly. We did see it push down slightly. Well, not slightly. At 11, it went from 6015 down to 60, so 15 pips to the downside. Bounce back up, sitting consolidation right now. All right, so that's the Kiwi with that news from the inflation expectations. Hey Angel Case, good morning, how are you doing? Now, what else happened since the last time we spoke? Scrolling back, we did have on Friday night at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, the employment numbers for the Canadians. Big surprise there, where employment change went from a minus 2.2k, expected only a 20.9k, but it got released at a 90.4. Employment change climbing very significantly there for the Canadians, while unemployment rate did not rise. It did not go from a 6.1 to a 6.2. In fact, it stayed at a 6.1%. So because of that, stronger than expected, very much stronger than expected employment change numbers for the Canadians, together with unemployment rate staying at 6.1%. We saw some strength on the Canadian dollar on Friday, and that's where you saw that happen, right? That push down. It went from 1.368, 1.3680 down to 1.3632, and then bounced back up because of that dollar strength coming back into play. So we saw that reaction from the news. Right, from the news pushing down, and then I'll show you that as well, way outside of the Bollinger Band. and bounce right back up. So it's what, zoom in a bit. So it's outside the Bollinger, it came right back in. Okay, I did not trade this news event. I was pretty much done on Friday last week after the session. I thought it's going to be a little bit quiet apart from the Canadian news. I didn't even bother looking at that, but that setup would have worked relatively nicely. That would have been a good signal to tell you to get out when it was outside the Bollinger Band. Okay, now with that, take that away. Then looking at the rest of the week, right? Remember this week, although it doesn't seem to be a lot of big news out, but there are some key important things to pay attention to. Tomorrow we do have the UK employment numbers to be released, claimant count numbers at 2 p.m. 10.9, 13.9, not a big change expected here. Average earnings index for the UK 5.6 to 5.3. Inflation, wage inflation looking like it's going to slow down slightly, but I think it might be a little bit too little, right, to have a massive impact on price. So I'm not thinking about this too much. All the way through to the night with the PPI to be released, I'm not too bothered with PPI at this point in time, because on Wednesday we do have the CPI to be released for the UK. Oh no, for the US, sorry. So CPI for the US year on year 3.5 to 3.4. We're looking for a slowdown in inflation growth for the US. I don't think it's going to change anything in terms of interest rate cut decisions, but it's going to add to it. I don't think it's going to lead to a decision in June to cut rates, but I think it's going to add to the case for cutting rates later into the year, possibly in July or September. Okay, so that's going to be important. Most likely going to lead to quite significant price volatility, especially with the retail sales numbers to be released at the same time. I'll tell you more about that on Wednesday, of course. And then we have employment numbers on Thursday for the Aussie, together with the Euro CPI numbers to be released on Friday. So main focus for this week will be the CPI number to come for the US. And just to get you excited about this news event, if you look at this on the 10th of April, when it went from a 3.2 to a 3.5 on the 10th of April, we saw the dollar index do, where was it? Do this, 10th, there we go. Right, when it went from a 3.2 to 3.5, inflation growth increasing, right, leading to less chance of a rate cut, leading to rates staying higher for longer. We saw the dollar index rise from that 104 level, 104 round number level, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4 hours, it went up to 105. So it rose from 104 all the way past 105 just because of that inflation number going from a 3.2 to a 3.5. So we're looking forward to this. We're looking forward to, I'm looking forward to this on Wednesday. I think you would be too. Whether it's going to go from 3.5 to a 3.4 or possibly even a 3.3 could lead to hope maybe some more significant downside on the dollar index. But that is on Wednesday. We still have the content with today and tomorrow first. Not many news for today. So I think that we might sit in a little bit of consolidation, retrace slightly before continuing on. I'll show you what I mean by that. Dollar index on a current time frame or current point in time, it's been in that consolidation. It did, okay? It did pop down slightly. It tested that 50% level and then bounced back up. And then after, and I think that would be came back up to test 38.2 and then came back down and set right across again. So how this looks like is essentially it is still sitting in a consolidation. Take that away. That I'll keep those 2 points. I have that as a round number level. Okay, so it is still sitting in that consolidation, relatively wide consolidation from 105.15 to 105.40. Right? It looks rather big it looks like a stretch to call it a consolidation, but if you think about it, it's only from 105.15 to 105.40. Not many pips in between, right? So I would still consider it a consolidation. What you would notice here is that pattern, right? It's pushed up and then it's set right across at this point. No, wait, actually not pushed up. It's done that. It's pushed down and then it's set right across at this point. So I'm looking for that to bounce around in this range, right? To bounce around in this range, capped by a resistance at 105.50 before pushing back down again. Maybe for today, going to sit around this range or push up slightly, maybe later into the week with a inflation growth number slowing down, we might see that push back down again. Okay, so for now, what I'm looking at on the dollar index is for it to push up towards 105.50. So very similar to what we were looking at before. Pushing up to 105.50. Let me think. I'm just thinking whether it could push up further. Let's see, 61.8 would be right there. Yeah, I think it would be about that point. I don't see it coming right up. Okay, so today being the 13th of May, I see it pushing up. Oops, what's happening here? Okay. Consolidating, could retest 105. Okay, consolidating, very similar to what we talked about on Friday, could retest 105.50 and then trade lower to 105. Okay, I think for now it could do that. I don't see that big push down yet. 105.50, it needs to stay below 105.80. Alright, so it needs to stay below this point. So it could come up to, essentially what we're saying is that the dollar index could come up to retest this point, or maybe even a little bit higher, but it needs to stay below this 105.80 region, which is also that 61.8 and the previous swing level from Thursday last week. Okay. Hey Pips Apprentice, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Ayakame, good afternoon. Hope you're well. I think looking at this, more likely it's going to stay within the consolidation. So I think consolidating could retest. Yeah, okay. I'll keep with that. But idea is more likely it's going to consolidate in this wide range. Then looking at the other pairs, Kiwi, if you got into that, I would hold on to that trade to try and see whether it could come down. I don't think all the way down now. I think maybe 30 pips to the downside, right? But if you did not get into this trade, it's dollar index looking like it's going to sit across slightly, maybe some upside. So we're looking, if you're in it, looking for it to come down. If you're not in it yet, then I would say that we're looking for it to trade down towards that 5980 level, and it could bounce from there. So trading within this wide range, right? So we drag this right across. I would possibly be looking for it to come down to 5980 and then maybe push back up again. This is possibly late into the week, but that's what I'm looking for. Wouldn't trade it down now. I would say that if it bounces off that level, then I could be looking at 5990, stop loss 20 pips at a maximum. Take profit, you could go 45 to the upside. Sit in consolidation, break slightly lower, bounce off this 38.2% level to bounce back up. That's what I'll be looking for. So 59, so Kiwi dollar, we're looking to buy, trade lower, bounce off level. Then we're looking to buy at 0.5990, stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the upside, keeping within the range, right? We're talking about a wide range at this point. Yep, I'm happy with that. Then on to the Aussie. All right, Aussie has not moved like the Kiwi. In fact, it came down and now it's pushing back up slightly. I saw news on the Aussie. I can't remember whether it was not that one, whether it was this today or over the weekend. I was looking at the news. Now it's probably quite a while back. Yeah, it's probably quite a while back. Okay. What I was looking for was, it was saying that we're going to see Aussie maybe push up a bit more. So that's what I'm actually looking at as well, given that it's bounced off this level here last week, holding with that trend line, possibly holding prices higher. I would still actually, I think it's going to range in this area, and I wouldn't be too keen, like what we were saying last week, not too keen, but we're looking for reaction at 6660, which is up here. All right, what I would actually be thinking or looking out for is if the Aussie could range in this area, push down a bit, and then do that. So dollar weakness scenario, because it's in a range, but pushing higher. I actually don't really like the Aussie at this point. It's almost at the same point where we were talking about. So this was on Friday last week where we were right there. Right, it's not that far off, and we kept the same view that we want to see a reaction at this point. I feel that the Aussie could trade higher, but it's not a, I remember saying this, I feel that Aussie could trade higher, but I don't think it's a trade worth getting into. Yeah, I'll maintain the same thing actually on the Aussie. Right, not worth getting no H1 set up, looking for reaction at 6660. So no H1 setup, looking for reaction at this 6660 level. So looking for it to go up. You can scalp it up or do short-term trades to the upside, but I think that on the H1, not too keen on that. Hey Lydia, how are you doing? Then onto the yen. This was getting very interesting, right? It pushed, it sat there, it looked like it was going to push up early this morning. I'll take that away, that did not trigger. Early this morning, we saw it push down a bit before sitting right in that consolidation. Right, still maintaining within that consolidation. The channel is invalidated. Take that away. I don't need this. Take that away. Aussie, I will buy unless it breaks 6655. Aussie, you would buy 66655. 66. Wait, what am I talking about? 6655, which is there. Oh, you buy unless it breaks resistance. Here, well, okay, you buy it up to that resistance level. I would actually look for it to break that resistance or a reaction at that resistance level. It's that thing that we're looking for here, and that 50%. So yeah, I agree with you there, Diana. You could be looking to buy it up to that resistance. There is about a 40 pip move to the upside. I just don't like where the stop loss is going to be. That's why I haven't looked at it on H1, but on a smaller time frame that could set up quite nicely. All right, so yeah, it makes sense. Then again to the yen, we're looking at this holding. This holding prices up, pushing right across. Needs to break that. I would still like to see it test and reject, break down. We don't need that anymore. That inverted head and shoulder played out very nicely. Test, reject. You could be looking for 155 dot. I think to be safer, 155.50. Stop loss 40 pips back into this level. So I'm looking at that kind of range. And then take profit down 140. Or actually just 90 to the downside first. Capturing that point there. So in fact, you could even be looking at 80 to the downside. All right, so we're looking for yen to break this short-term trend line to head down. Yen, I'll be looking for it to sell 155.50, 40 to 80 to the downside. 155.50, 40 to 80 to the downside. Okay, then on to pound, looking for it to break up, didn't do that, take all that away. That resistance level held quite strongly. So what we're looking at here is for it to maintain within this range. Maybe, I don't like it that much, 30 pip stop, 50 pip take to the downside. Could be looking for that, sitting in that range. No, I want to see that instead. Okay, I want to see that instead. I want to see it test and reject back down. So with that, then I'll do 1.253025 to 60 to the downside. Right, so it's just going to sit there for now, looking for it to push up, and then after that come back down, just following that move back down, quite similar to that kind of move. So looking for a test and reject back down. 1.253025 to 60. 1.2530, 25 to 60 to the downside. You see the dollar index now pushing down slightly, so it's just hopefully going to push that up, and then after that we're going to see that come back down, keeping within that range. Then onto the euro. All right, any news? Wait, euro news, economic forecast to be released. Not yet. Okay, euro dollar pushing up, did not trigger that, take that away. Well, within that, keeping within that range, you can see as well, this came down to 38.2 and got supported, pushing back up. Not too keen on this. I don't think there'll be a lot of trades today. Right, it looks like everything is going to maintain within the range. I'll be looking for that reaction and rejection, or that reaction at 1.08. If it breaks above 1.08, I could see further upside, but I want to see what happens at 1.08 first. Okay, if it reacts to 1.08, you do have 1.0810, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside, or a reverse where you go 1.0785, breaking back down, stop loss 20 again, take profit good 60 again to the downside. All right, so we're going to see what happens to price at a 1.08 level. So on the euro dollar, we're looking for reaction at 1.08. Could buy / sell, stop loss 20, take profit 60 that way. All right, Dyna with a overall euro is an uptrend on daily time frame, but if it breaks resistance first, I will buy, but if it breaks support levels, short. Yeah. On the daily, it is looking like it's trying to push up. There are a lot of tails, so as much as it's trying to push up, you can see a lot of tails trying to retrace back. I do think that buying it up is a more prudent bias, is a better bias to the upside for now. Right, we're looking at that move. So we could see it come up to this point, retrace, and then push back up. But yeah, I think in the, not that, take that away. In the short, intraday term, I would say that I want to see what happens at 1.08. So yeah, I agree with you. If it breaks that resistance, we can look to go up further. But we need to see what happens at that point. No, not 1.088, 1.08. 1.08 could buy. Then we could buy or sell 20 pip stop, 60 pip take. Onto the US Swiss franc. Look at that. As you can say, choppy. Everyone put the word choppy into the chat because that's what the US Swiss franc is. Put it into chat, type choppy, like that, go. Right, US Swiss franc is just sitting right across. It's just sitting right across, chopping up, coming right back down, chopping down, coming right back up. Tight range, not very dissimilar to the dollar, to the way the dollar index is moving. I think that if it does break lower, I think it's in this wide range. It could break lower, not worth trading it lower because it would be 9050. There is only a 30-40 pip take. Stop loss will be about 20. I don't think, there's only that tail there, so I don't think it'd be worth trying to do that. Thanks for that, Angel Case. What about everyone else? So I would say that I look for it to come down to the support, especially if the dollar index does break to the downside. Then I'll look for reaction at 9010. Right? So US Swiss franc, we're looking for reaction at 0.9010. Not a lot, a lot of waiting today. And this is one of those days. Last week a bit less so. Today is really going to test the discipline, but it's one of those days you're going to sit and wait. You're going to sit and wait for price to get to a level and then maybe get into a trade. It's not a case of get to a level and then get into a trade, because it might just get to the level and sit there again. So it's that kind of ranging day, right? And I actually just realized that because it's such a rangy day, we seem to be getting through the list quite quickly. USCAD, we spoke about that, broke down, take that away. If you look, I don't need that because that's broken. Exactly. Better wait for price to come to you instead of jump into a running train. Well, not so much a running train this time round, more like better wait for price to come to you instead of jumping into a waiting train, because you're going to jump in and you're going to sit there and wait and wait and wait. Yeah, so I see that sitting there right across 50 and 30. All right, and you can see that happening quite a lot in this area. So if you really wanted to jump into a trade, it would be the US CAD 1.3670, 30 to 60 to 55 to the downside. Yeah, if you really had to, I would naturally prefer to wait for it to come down to that support and see what to do. All right, but this could be a setup to look out for as well. Let me think, could it get to 1.3675? Breaking lower, I think that's going to range. I think that could be the only thing I would think of for today, or even the close of this hour, right? And I would think of that 30 to 60 to the downside. So I'll look for this. If I really want to enter a trade, this would be the one that I would put very high up there. Break that 1.36, well, reverse from this point and trade down. Okay, that's what I'll be looking for. So 1.3675, 30 to 60. So 1.3675, stop loss 30, take profit 60 to the downside. Hey Lingopedia, how are you doing? I think that would be okay. Might come down. It might be closing at 30 pips, 1:1. At best, 1:2 to the downside. So looking at the US yen still sitting right across, the pound dollar still sitting right across. The pound yen is choppy but sitting right across as well. That did not go down. Yes, I will. Now I see that. I remember that. Pound Swiss franc. I'll get to that. Sitting right across. Push up, back down. So if that pushes up and back down, that could push up and back down. I kind of like that. So on the pound yen, what I would be looking for would be a test and reject. Right, and then if you took that idea with a trend line like that, that could also work. We took the body, that would make sense. So we see it test 195.60, reject and sell down, you'll be looking at 195.35. Stop loss 40 pips. Take profit, the first one will be about 85 to the downside. I'll be looking for that move. Yeah, I think that's fine. Then again, US yen sitting right across, euro dollar looking like it's going to push up. I think I like the euro. I think I like the US CAD as something quite immediate, and then the euro with that possibility. I like those two. Oh, it's starting to storm in my area. Then euro yen pushing up, that did not trigger, take that away. Same thing with the pound yen pushing up. You will want to see a reaction to 6.9. You could be looking to buy it up at above 6.8. So there is an opportunity to trade up towards a resistance. 6.820, stop loss tight, 30, 40 pips. Take profit 80 pips to the upside. So you could even do a 40 pip that way. Kind of like that as well, because of the way it's trending up towards that resistance or round number level. Then Swiss yen choppy at the resistance. I think it's going to come up to this point and sit there, or come up to that point and sit there, not do too much. So I'm not too keen on that. But that trade played out quite nicely and could still be going on if you are on it, but it's coming towards that resistance that you want to watch out for. Okay, I'll maintain, I'll keep that there. No, we're going to see a reaction at that point. Could break through or reverse back down. More likely, I think it could reverse, but not ready yet. Then onto the pound Swiss. We spoke about this to test the support level and bounce up. Right? It tested, it bounced up, it came back down, it's sitting right across at this point here. It's right in the middle. It's right in the middle, tested 61.8. I would still say it's going to sit there. More likely, if that pushes down, where am I? Okay, more likely I could see it test the support again. If it does test the support, could it break? For it to break, we have to see the pound dollar reverse quite strongly. Could be a possibility. I don't see it happening straight away. But I think that we could see it come down to test that support level, and then you might be looking for it to break. But it's not something that might be ready right away, because it's just choppy in that area. Does that align with your analysis there, Diana? And also because of that 61.8 level might hold quite strong. Okay, then on to gold. All right, we spoke about this. Well, I posted, it got disrupted on Friday last week, but I was saying gold needs to stay above 23.45, could get to 23.70. Above 23.70 could get to 2400. It got up to 23.71. All right, so stay above 23.45 to get to 23.71. It got up to 23.71 and then turned back down. Now that it's pushing lower, maybe not. 38.2, no. That's something to watch out for. Let's see. 50 would be somewhere to watch out for as a support level to break. For it to break this support would mean that we're maybe anticipating some dollar strength to come back into play. Do we think that dollar strength is going to come back into play? I don't see that as pushing down while this is pushing down. I think that the correlation between gold and the dollar for now is kind of broken. So I would say that I'm possibly looking at this heading down. H4, you look at H4 time frame. Yeah, I see that as well. It came outside the Bollinger, that's why it's turning back down. I do see that as a bit more strength to push back down. So I'll maintain that view that I do think that if it breaks, so this is what we said, right? On Friday, it needs to stay above 23.45, and now if it breaks 23.45, so this is where we were on Friday at our session, right? Get to 23.71. So it needs to stay above this point. If it breaks this, we could see it come down. So 23.45 could trade down to 23.28. Okay, so dollar gold, if it breaks 23.45, could trade down to 23.28. Sorry, could trade down to 23.28. 23.28. Yes, okay. Then 23.30 would be a strong support. 23.30, yeah. 23.28, 23. I think yes, I would round it up. That's a good point there, Jimmy. 23.30. Let me just check something here. That's a 61. 61 is a bit far away. I would say that I'll keep it to that 23.28, but I think in that area would be somewhere that you want to watch out for. So 23.28 to dash 23.30. Okay. Waiting for displacement. 1.37. No. 1.37. 1.137. Yeah, 1.137 to retest the levels, buy on daily, break down a short. Yeah, we need to see what happens at that support level there first. Lingopedia is asking us about bias for gold on oncoming data tomorrow. I would tell you tomorrow. For now, for today, if it plays out, will be for it to break that support down when it gets to around that level, then we'll evaluate again. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Okay, so with that said, that's the majors. Doesn't seem very exciting for today. Most likely you're gonna sit in that wide consolidation, a lot of waiting. For today, I think most likely CAD would be something to watch out for, and then the Euro, the next one up. I think apart from that, Kiwi not too much, Aussie neither. Yen could push up, could buy it up as well. If you wanted to, you could be looking for that kind of move up 80, 75 and a very tight stop at 30. If it breaks above that point, something to think about. But I think it's going to sit in this range for a while. Pound, a lot of waiting to do. Euro, we talked about already. Swissie is choppy. Want to see it go ahead lower. With all that said, hey, if you haven't already, do make sure you join us on the Discord channel, and please help me out to click that like and subscribe button. Everyone on Discord, you probably noticed I've rejigged a lot of stuff around, quite a number of things to be sharing with you guys on what's up in Discord, so do stay tuned. All right. Please take care, trade well, trade safe. If there's no trade, don't jump onto a waiting train. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.